Hello and welcome to Actuaries Speak podcast, a special initiative by Jai Hind College to help students discover the world of actuarial science. I am Divya Prasad, your host for today. I am a qualified chartered accountant and currently on the journey to becoming an actuary. Just like a lot of you, I am here to learn more about this field and all the career opportunities it has to offer. Today, we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Vamsidhar. He's a qualified actuary, a professor at BITS Pilani, and has also completed his FRM and MBA from IIM Indore. With his vast experience in both academics and the actual profession, he is the perfect person to help us understand this field better. Sir, it's great to have you here.
Thank you very much, Divya, for the introduction.
Thank you for taking the time to speak with us today. We're really looking forward to hearing about your journey and gaining insights from your experiences. To begin, could you share a bit about your background? What led you to the actual profession and what has kept you engaged in it over the years?
Okay. Instead of talking directly about my actuarial background per se, let me start right from, let's say, what I did right from schooling, or probably once I have done with my schooling. So, yeah, right throughout my schooling, I discovered that I had a lot of interest towards numbers, the mathematics, the statistics. These are some of the areas which have really fascinated me. So, which means one of the obvious choices at that point of time have been to pick up something where mathematics and statistics are very heavily utilized. So that's how I initially got into computer science engineering right after my plus two. And then again, what next? Where I can use the mathematics and statistics. So when I was looking at that, I was attracted towards using these areas of math and stats in management, and that's how I landed up in IIM Indore. And there also I was more and more fascinated with finance, it was playing a lot with numbers, probably a lot of valuations. So there was a lot of mathematics applications coming into it, and because of that, there was a lot of what you call a curiosity that got developed into me. Oh, there are a lot of applications of mathematics, especially in management. Then start dwelling a lot into this, which means look at the areas of risk management. And when I was doing a bit of exploration into the areas of risk management, that's where I came across this actuarial profession. So if I really look at connecting all the dots where I had landed up in my various educational journeys, the common point was applying mathematics and statistics to solving a lot of business problems, or probably looking at the practical challenges of decision making under uncertainty. So I realized my realization about actuarial science came much later, after I started working in an software company where I was handling the product delivery for a few insurance products. So that is where I came across this actuarial science as a profession, and probably the extent to which mathematical models and statistical models are applied to this space. And that's it. I mean, I started looking at pricing insurance products, or managing financial risk, designing pension schemes. Everywhere it's an application of mathematics and statistics. So, and today, if you see, the field is even more evolving. I mean, it's not staying stagnant, right? Today, we see a lot of data science applications coming into actuarial science, into the insurance space, the machine learning, the financial analytics. So it's a kind of domain that is reinventing itself. And so you could really look at it like an analytical curiosity is meeting the most meaningful societal contribution as well. So that's a quick way I can summarize the way I landed in this typical profession. And probably, though I haven't worked extensively in that space, but the principles that I have learned a lot in the actuarial profession, I see there are a lot of applications of that outside the insurance industry. And that is where I have been using all the knowledge and the skills that I have learned during the actuarial education times as such.
Okay. And with regards to the actual profession, I have a few questions that students may have. So I'll proceed to ask them one by one. So the first is, how will you explain the concept of actuarial science in the simplest of the terms?
Okay, actuarial science. I don't know whether I should completely call it as a science. For me, it's an art as well. So it's a blending of art and science where you are using mathematics and statistics along with the domain knowledge to predict and to manage financial risk. So wherever uncertain future events are there, you are trying to use the art and science of mathematics and statistics to typically predict and manage the financial risk. So that's how I would like to put it. For example, even if you see, if I want to really understand how long someone might live, that's where the life insurance is all about. Or what can be the cost for a typical storm, that's where the general insurance is coming in. Or how do the real financial markets move? Can I really understand the movement behavior of the stock markets, of the commodity markets? If I want to really understand the underlying patterns. So all this is a part of the actuarial side. So if you want me to define it in one single line, I would define it as the probability meeting pragmatism. That is how I define actuarial science.
Okay. The next question would be, since you have so many degrees with you, so what strategies or study methods helped you to tackle multiple challenging exams?
Okay. So, as I told you a little while earlier, initially I started off with engineering and computer science, then moved on to MBA, where I specialized in the finance and IT areas. But more than that, once I started working in software industry, primarily in the business analysis areas, that is where various domains started attracting me. So I did a lot of certifications in the area of insurance to start with, then capital markets, and that's where slowly I landed up in the area of actuarial side. But if I have to talk about what is the kind of skill or what is the kind of motivation that has really driven me all this, as I have expressed a little while earlier as well, my zeal to apply the mathematical knowledge in various facets of business. So it could be capital markets, it could be insurance, it could be banking. So in that journey, I tried to understand the financial markets, I tried to understand the risk models, and all these areas, they are traditionally complementing the actuarial skill set that I typically wanted to acquire. So especially in the areas of investment, if I see, there is a lot of influence of the financial risk management concepts in the areas of investments, in the area of enterprise risk management. So, and typically if I talk about my MBA from IIM Indore, obviously it has given me a very broader perspective, helped me broaden my perspective beyond the numbers. Anyhow, I was very much fascinated with the numbers. but a focus on leadership, a focus on strategy, a focus on organizational dynamics. So various such kind of elements came into picture. So I would typically see all these as a complete package. Yes, on one side, you have strengthened yourself in the area of numbers. And to add to that, you also have developed your expertise in the area of strategy, leadership, the organizational, behavioral understandings, etc. So I would definitely see a combination of these two things would really create a successful career for anyone. And when I am doing teaching right now, I mean, for over the last more than a decade, I have been into the education space itself. My knowledge of these various domains have really helped me to focus a lot. Probably when I'm doing teaching, research, consulting, anything, I'm able to bridge the worlds of actuarial science, the world of finance, the world of management, the world of business analytics, the world of machine learnings, etc., which has really enriched my way of looking at solving the problems as such.
Okay.
Yeah.
And next question would be, what will be the most important advice you would give to an actuarial science student to build a strong foundation for a successful career in the field?
Okay. I'm an ardent fan of cricket. So I would like to, I mean, that's also a lot about numbers. I mean, okay, it's a play, there is a game to it, but I'm more interested in the numbers side of it. So I would always talk about, I mean, whenever I link this kind of career advice, not only in actuarial science field, when I talk about in the various other fields also, I say every field has a set of fundamentals. The same thing goes with cricket, right? I mean, you stick to your fundamentals. You may be a flamboyant player, you may be a very defensive batter, you may play any role in a typical team, but as long as your fundamentals are right, which means stick to the basics. The more you understand the fundamentals, the more you question why, the more you apply a why approach to learn the details behind any specific concept. For example, if you try to look at this actuarial science space, probably you have the fundamentals lying in the areas of probability theory, statistics, financial mathematics. So if you really look at some of the exams, actuarial science exams, the CS, the CB, the CM, all these are typically your core subjects, and which are very, very essential even if you want to perform any advanced problem solving areas of actuarial science. So my suggestion is focus around problem solving. How well I am able to understand the problem, how well I am able to break down that problem into smaller pieces, how well I am trying to give a solution to each of the pieces and finally integrate it into a massive solution. In that journey, you should also be doing cultivating domain knowledge, probably in the areas of investments, in the areas of insurance, in the areas of pension, etc. And more important, never give up the attitude of staying curious. Curiosity, a very, very important element according to me. The more you start observing a phenomenon, the more you start questioning a phenomenon, the more you will get interested towards that particular subject or the theory. Now, the most successful actuaries, if you really look at, it's not about clearing the actuarial science exam. If you really look at the most successful actuaries, they are not just the ones who have cleared the exam. but they have that logical thinking, they have that critical understanding about a problem. They would be very good at asking questions, understand the why behind the model, and they really adapt themselves continuously. So when new technologies come in, today there's a lot of application of technologies like Python, R, machine learning, etc. Now, whosoever is adapting himself or herself, integrating the business problems with the new tools, with the new technologies, will really make a successful career in this field. That's how I would like to talk about.
Thank you, sir. That was very inspiring. And the next question would be, what areas within actuarial science do you think are currently underrated but have greater future potential?
Okay, underrated. It's really a great question, probably an excellent one. So today, if I really look at actuarial science, there are many wider dimensions that are getting integrated into actuarial science. For example, the climate risk modeling, which has really picked up over the last couple of years, but there's a lot of potential to perform in that space. The actuaries have a very, very major role in climate risk modeling. Healthcare is going in a very, very big way across the world. There's a lot of focus towards insurance, analytics, healthcare analytics, where the underlying principles of mathematics and statistics, the basic foundations of actuarial science, they play a very, very crucial role. Today, the actuarial science applications are going very, very bigger in the area of banking. When you look at the concepts like credit risk, capital adequacy, IFRS 17, Basel norms, all have roots in actuarial science itself. So all these areas are definitely gaining a lot of traction. But even today, I see the kind of penetration actuarial science has in the insurance space is much, much, much higher compared to the kind of penetration the actuarial science has in the other spaces like banking, healthcare, capital markets, etc. And typically today, I cannot segregate actuarial science from data science as well, because there are the foundations of data science and actuarial science, both of them is math and stat. And that's where there is a lot of overlap in the skills that both of these people will typically possess. So we are seeing today machine learning is used in claims prediction, lapse modeling, fraud detection. So these are various areas where actuaries, with their basic actuarial knowledge and actuarial skills, added with these machine learning, data science related knowledge areas, they are going to play a very crucial role in the coming years. So I would like to summarize this in one single sentence. The actuaries who embrace data science will be well ahead of the curve in the future areas.
And sir, since you mentioned that there are various dimensions which can be merged with actuarial science, according to you, what are other additional qualifications that an actuarial student can pursue along with actuarial science or later on after becoming an actuary?
I don't suggest too many additional qualifications, but yes, getting more deeper into the areas of data science, which would really enhance. I mean, these two go very, very much hand in hand. So getting as much deeper into data science as possible. So that itself is a very vast field, but definitely that's going to be the future. It has already started, so that's going to be the future. So actuarial science fundamentals plus a strong hold of data science, machine learning, deep learning, NLP, so even computer vision, go more deeper into the various aspects of data science. Probably that's going to be a deadly combination. And in case you want to take up some kind of leadership based roles, probably over a period of time, getting into a good management qualification also would be an added advantage, but not necessary. Sometimes you may very well gain your management leadership skills as you move up the ladder. But definitely, my suggestion would be to acquire knowledge. I don't suggest go for any qualifications or certifications. If you are fine going for them, if you are ready to dedicate your time, fair enough, you can go for some qualifications and certifications. But more than that, it's the knowledge that matters. So you should try to focus on acquiring knowledge in the areas of data science, which can be a perfect blend to the actuarial science career.
Thank you so much, sir, for your insights so far. Now that we have covered some of the bigger picture questions, I'd like to do a quick round of rapid fire questions.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. First question, one subject in school that you hated or disliked?
English.
English?
Yeah. I mean, remembering a lot of grammar, rules was a big pain.
Yeah, okay. Next would be a profession other than actuary or teaching that you admire the most.
Sports. So primarily playing cricket.
Next, one habit that has contributed to your success so far.
Yeah, breaking everything down into numbers.
Oh.
So that's something that I have been developing right from the beginning.
Next, a book or resource that you would recommend to every student.
Okay, there's a book I read very recently which I was really attracted by. How Not to Be Wrong, The Power of Mathematical Thinking. So it has a lot of wit in it, sharp, reminds that mathematics is just not in the textbooks, it's everywhere. So, I mean, that's a good book I suggest to all the actuarial students.
And lastly, what is the biggest myth about actuaries?
Okay, so generally, I mean, people think that we are boring, we are only number nerds. But I would typically say the actuaries are more adventurous guys. These are the guys who like risks. They would like to model the risk, quantify the risk, and probably they would always talk about something like 95% confidence level.
So that brings us to the end of the rapid fire round. Sir, it has been an absolute privilege speaking with you today. Your insights have been incredibly valuable, and we are truly grateful for the time and thought you've dedicated to sharing your experiences and expertise with us.
Sure. I mean, it was really nice interacting with you as well. I mean, the questions were really interesting.
Thank you so much.
I hope the actuarial students get some benefit out of it. But at the end of the day, probably they have to take it just like any other profession, but with passion, with dedication, with grit. And I'm sure people are going to be very, very successful in this profession.
Sure, sir. So thank you once again for this session. And with that, we will end this podcast over here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.